So, I'm now home from hospital. It's been quite a long time since my last video because I was taken to surgery on Tuesday and it took me a few days to recover from that. Yeah, so quite extensive surgery I've had on my left ankle and tailbone area. So just to explain what they did, I had a fracture, Hawkins type 2, to the neck, talar neck, on my left ankle. As well as a fibular fracture that I understand is less important. You know, it's not going to threaten anything in the future. I think those sorts of fractures tend to heal quite well. So the one I had, the talar fracture, was dealt with by making a break to the tibia on the inside, so that the surgeons could access the fractures in the talar bone. The talar bone is the one right in the middle, and it's a really crucial bone for foot movement because it connects the foot to the leg. So fractures in this area are not good, and they can cause lots of complications. They tend to occur from high impact falls, such as a rock climbing fall, which is what I had. I fell about 5 or 6 meters whilst lead climbing in Greece. So what they did when I went in there, they as I said, they broke the tibia, and they went in and they have put, I think, 2 screws in the talus bone, and also while they're in there, I think they also did up the fibula that had obviously originally been broken, and then they'll have probably, I assume, put something in the fibula, sorry, the tibia that they'd broken in order to access the talus bone. I'm not entirely sure of this. I have got my records from the docs. I went to the PACS department so I could have all the information, you know, just so I know everything. I can read up on it and stuff. And I haven't looked at it yet because it's still all a bit raw, and I don't think I can deal with looking at an X-ray of my leg with pins and whatnot in it. Anyway, I'll just show you the cast that I've got on. Oh, there we go. There it is. So the surgery was about 4 hours, I think, and when I came round, I just felt extremely tender and rough and horrible, and I came round in the recovery room and the bright lights were horrendous, and I just felt really sick from the anaesthetic. I think made me feel like really, really bad, and all I could say to the nice lady who was bringing me around was just like, give me something for the sickness, you know. So they did that. I think it's a common side effect of anaesthetic to feel sick, and it took me ages to come around. I was really drowsy, and I think I lay asleep there for maybe an hour or so before they actually deemed me awake enough to take me back to my ward. When I got back to the ward, same problem, sickness, and my sister was there, and I think I was in a bit of a state, and it's probably quite hard for her to see me like that. That night I was given morphine, and I was weeing in a bedpan because there was no chance I was going to get out of my bed. The ankle wasn't sore because I think I was still feeling numb from whatever they'd given me. Through the night it started to become excruciating. I could kind of feel, how can I describe it? It just felt really raw pain in there, really like, you know, like it had been butchered, like obviously it kind of has. And I was one of many on the ward. There were people on the ward who'd had sort of other type of gynecological surgery, and they were just out of the operating room too. I remember the nurses saying like, "Oh, we've got 3 who've just come out of surgery to deal with tonight," which isn't always the case. I think sometimes they have an easier time of it. On that particular evening, there were 3 of us basically crying out for pain relief, bedpans. I found weeing in the bedpan quite difficult because each time it had come, I kind of would get a bit stressed that I was going to wee on the covers, and one time I did manage to wee on my nightie, so I had to change that. It was like being a baby again. Actually weeing in this, because you kind of wee in a pan that's got it's a plastic thing, and then it's got a cardboard thing on top of that, and on top of that there's like a massive kind of sanitary towel type nappy thing that they put, which absorbs all the wee. If they place it correctly, then your weeing is going to go all in the towel. But if they don't, I think there's a risk you can wee in the wrong place. So I was kind of like, whenever I needed a wee, I would generally need it for a long time because I was out of it when they were when I kind of didn't realise I needed a wee, and then I would realise and call the nurse, and you know, it'd take a while for them to come. I don't think it took a while, but I think the process of the whole weeing process just generally was a bit of an ordeal. And then of course they brought this thing, put it under you, and then you kind of felt stressed for weeing, and generally when you wee you have to be relaxed, don't you? And I would generally wee maybe 80% of the wee out, and then they'd take it away again, and then I'd be like, oh god, I need it again, oh shit, oh, and then I'd have to get another one back. God knows how many bedpans I used that first night. But there were, 3 of us in the ward all doing the same thing. The poor nurses would run off their feet with bedpan action. Anyway, I won't bore you with that anymore. The next day, still fragile, feeling sick. I thought I'd better eat to keep my strength up, because I'm quite a big eater in life normally, and I kind of started doing the maths, and because I'd been nil by mouth before the op, I hadn't eaten anything for about 14 hours before the op occurred, and then the operation itself, and then the night followed it, I worked out I hadn't eaten for 33 hours, and I was suddenly like, oh my god, I need to eat. So that day I put away quite a lot of food in the form of hospital meals, and I got puddings and stuff because I thought I'd better get my strength up again. Unfortunately, that had an effect the following day, because I'd been given codeine for the pain relief. I was given morphine for the pain relief, which is great. But I think they only give you that right at the beginning when it's excruciating pain. And after that, they'd put me on to, I think, codeine and paracetamol. So I was on codeine. I didn't realise the side effect of codeine was constipation. And the nurses did offer me a laxative, but I think I was so sort of confused and out of it that I didn't realise that I needed it because of that, and I just kind of thought, constipation? I don't get constipation. I follow a vegan diet. My pooing couldn't be more fluid, you know. I just said, no, thanks. And then I think it was after the second night that the constipation became obviously a real problem, and that brought on not only being blocked, but also feeling really sick. And so the second day after the op, I spent the whole day like feeling sick, not being able to poo. I eventually got a laxative. But anyone listening to this who hasn't had this sort of injury or whatever is going to be like, this girl is just going on about her weeing and pooing in hospital. But you know, it's interesting to me because I've just been through it. I'm hoping that these videos will be interesting to other people who sustain talar injuries, because talar injuries are really rare. They're 1% of all ankle and foot injuries, and you know, it's not a common thing. And whereas other ankle injuries heal quite well, this type doesn't necessarily. So if people are like me, they're going to be wanting all the information and support they can get. Anyway, so yeah, eventually I did get some laxatives. They set in, but all in all, I'm going to wrap things up now because I've been talking for 9 minutes, and it's probably enough for one video. I think 10 minutes is the maximum for a video to be interesting. So anyway, I was kept in for 5 nights altogether. After the op, I was kept in for 2 or 3 nights. because my temperature kept peaking, which was disappointing because one time I was almost ready to go home. My sister was waiting outside to take me, and my mum had packed up all my stuff. And then they took my temperature one last time, and it was 38.4. So they're like, no, you've got to stay in another night. And so that was horrendous. But anyway, I'm home now. So my next video will be talking about life doing nothing at my mum's, which sounds great, doesn't it? I'm at my mum's now. You can see her lovely artwork up there. That's one of 3 nice pictures she's got in the room I'm staying in. Anyway, that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. Bye.